Welcome everybody to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. Let's get into this. Finally, a victory Monday. It feels like, I don't know, months since we won one. Finally won a game against the Washington Commanders, which kind of helped the Giants in their playoff seeding. Not guaranteed they're in, but right now they're headed in the right direction. So good for them. Let's point out some of the positives in the game because apparently I'm too negative of a fan. Let's point out some of the positives of the game. Kayvon Thibodeaux, welcome to the NFL, baby. Welcome to the NFL. Couldn't have picked a better game to kick in the door and show the world who you really are. This guy had 12 tackles, 7 solo, a forced fumble, a touchdown, and a sack. Wow, you couldn't fill up the stat sheet anymore if you wanted to. Great game by him. Absolutely bona fide star, bona fide stud. He will be our defensive number one guy because he's a game changer in the way that they did that he is. And I love what him and Ojulari are going to bring for years to come. Giant fans, be happy, man. We finally got a pass rush. It took a while. It's going to keep helping us next year. We're going to face a lot harder schedules, so we're going to need these guys coming through. I think, and we'll get into this more towards down the road, but one of the things we need to bring in is another edge rusher here. Remember when they drafted Matthias Kiwanuka and they had Michael Strahan, O.C. Umenyiora, and Justin Tuck? Well, hey, how'd that work out for him? Pretty good, if you'd ask me. So, Kayvon Thibodeaux, great job. Other than that, there wasn't really anything too great to write home about. The offense, pedestrian, absolutely pedestrian. Oh, God. The Washington Commanders are terrible. They're a terrible team. If the Giants play somebody else that was probably slightly better in competition, slightly better in weight class, they'd probably lose that game. The refs, I don't even want to talk about the refs. They were a complete crapshoot on both sides of the football. For both teams. I mean, the receiver, Terry McLaurin, not Terry McLaurin, I think Curtis Samuel, somebody got mugged on Washington's side. They got mugged. Darnay Holmes literally hugged the man. Now, hey, you get away with some. You don't get away with some. They make some calls, whatever. It happens. And, you won the game. But I'll tell you this right now. And here comes, I guess, the negative Nancy side of me. The offense needs to do more in order for us to advance in the playoffs if we get there. Remember, we still have 3 games. A lot can happen. Things can happen. Injuries, whatnot. Who knows? That's why the NFL plays the games. But right now, the Giants are in the driver's seat. Headed, if the playoffs were to start today, headed to San Francisco. And not San Francisco of 2011, San Francisco of right now. Where they're doing a lot to isolate their quarterback from making mistakes. He's also playing pretty well right now, Brock Purdy. And we'll see how he develops in these next couple weeks. So when we go there, the Giants' defense will probably have a shot, but that offensive line is fantastic. And their defense is championship caliber, and it's going to keep them definitely in the game against our putrid offense. Now, here are some things. The offense, no creativity, and don't really throw the ball downfield. You can tell me all you want. Oh, well, it's the personnel. Listen, this personnel ain't going nowhere. This personnel has been here since week 1, okay? You've put guys in and out of the lineup. You took Golladay out, said, you know what, buddy, we don't like you. You're out of here, right? Sterling Shepard, he never made it to the field. So then you decided to promote Darius Slayton. Then you got Isaiah Hodgins. You did nothing at the trade deadline to bring in any receiver. So for me, it's kind of hard to keep buying into the excuse when we had Richie James from jump. We've had Darius Slayton from jump. Okay, we've had Daniel Bellinger from jump. The tight ends are non-existent in this offense. Absolutely non-existent. I like Bellinger, but let's be honest. He's not a stretch the field tight end. He isn't. He's not a guy that is like George Kittle or Travis Kelce or any of that type of player out there. Now, he may develop into a solid tight end, and don't tell me, oh, well, Adam, he's going to be great. He's going to probably be a solid blocking tight end for the Giants. It's going to be pretty good to watch his development. But we need a lot of help there, a lot of depth pieces. This offseason, you can upgrade every position, even quarterback, who, played an all right game. Everyone's like, oh, he played his best game of his career. That was his best game. Before it was his best game of his career. I don't understand. The guy played average. There wasn't much left to be out there. He didn't score any touchdowns. He didn't score any rushing touchdowns or any passing touchdowns. I mean, they had one good drive the entire game, which was their field goal drive. They had a touchdown and they had a field goal drive. 2 field goal drives. The conservativeness with 6 minutes to go in the game, after you get the ball with Dexter Lawrence making a fumble, how about him? He did a great job, right? After he forced the fumble on Case Keenum, who's an absolute trash quarterback, but still somehow threw for 200-something yards. You go downfield, you run the football, which someone told me was aggressive. I don't think it was aggressive. I think they were giving it to their best player, and it was working. Normally, and you're running out the clock. Normally, if you have a better defense, they stack the box, and they're not going to let you get out of that end, and they're going to try to pin you back there. They happen to break a couple runs. The fact that they didn't throw it and be a little bit more aggressive in certain areas was a little telling to me. I don't know if that's they don't trust the quarterback. You can tell me they don't trust the personnel. But again, these are offensive coaches. They should be able to figure out holes in the defense. It can't be one and the other. It can't be, well, the team stinks, but we're not going to pass. I mean, they didn't make any passes deep. And what throwing it deep does, even if you don't complete it, at least it shows the defense that you're going to take shots. I mean, let's look at the other side. Washington Commanders, they go downfield, Giants score, they get the ball back, and they punt the ball to the Redskins. They get the ball inside the 10-yard line, and the Redskins turn around and throw a 50-yard bomb down the field, completely flip the field, which would have gotten them back in the game had they not had that stupid fumble that they made, right? So we didn't even do that. We didn't even give it a chance. We don't get many calls down the field. We don't get chances. Like, they're getting PIs and this, that, and the other thing. And our Giants, I asked people yesterday, how many we got? Like, we got a couple over the year. Like, couple. I see calls every week for guys. Every freaking week for guys. We don't do nothing, So we're going to have a lot of work this offseason to build this offense, make it better. I do believe, even if we go to the playoffs, someone told me, we're not going to draft it. We're not going to give up the farm for a quarterback because we went to the playoffs. Listen, if you believe that you're going to draft a quarterback now or in 2024, well, you're going to rip the Band-Aid somehow. You're going to have to give up assets somehow. And to be honest with you, I'd rather give up assets now early in this rebuild process than later on in the rebuild process, right? Where we might have to trade players away and draft picks. Right now, we're in the infancy stage of this rebuild. Remember, it's still a rebuild. So, someone told me, well, the expectations didn't change with Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. They already told you that from jump. They told you that from jump. They weren't putting any expectations on the year. They weren't doing anything. It's just part of the process. We're trying to be as competitive as we can be, and do that. They're going to make their moves. They're going to do whatever they got to do to make this team better and get this team up to speed. So don't be worried about the moves. Don't hang your hat on players too much. The argument about, well, Daniel Jones is coming back or not. Well, if he comes back for a 2-year deal, let's face it, folks. If anything less than a 4-year deal, if it's like a 3-year with an option to get out, it means they don't like him. It means they're only using the placeholder. I used the analogy yesterday. It's like when you move into a house, right? First, I called off Daniel Jones' knockoff Listerine. I still believe that. But when you move into a house, right? Some people move into a new house. They want to fix everything up, but they don't want to fix the kitchen just yet. They don't like the kitchen, but they want it. They always want a kitchen done, but they have it, and it's functional. Daniel Jones is like the functional kitchen that you have when you move into your new house. You don't necessarily want it, but you can't change it because, it might cost you some assets right now. So you use it. Now you come back, and now maybe the price of lumber's gone down or something's changed where you can now afford that kitchen. You're going to make that move. You're not going to worry about making that move later. Like when it doesn't matter, you're going to make the move now. It's just called economics. And the reason why I also say that is because everyone's like, well, the Giants are going to build. They have so much money. Well, not many teams build when they've paid their quarterback. Their quarterback gets in place, and then they use younger. Look at Tyreek Hill. He got traded. There's a reason why he got traded. They couldn't fit everybody under the cap. There's not really a huge superstar on that defense. They play good on Kansas City. They have Chris Baker, right, the D tackle. They have a couple other players who are playing very well right now, but they don't have any stars. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu's gone, right? But they play well defensively. They bring their guys up through the draft, and that's what winning teams do. Because what you see is, it's funny. I was talking about it last night on Mac's stream, the Aftermath. Shout out! I want to shout out to him right after this, but he teams that are good lose players and are still good, right? Teams are going down. The offensive lineman goes down. Doesn't matter. Boom. Next guy comes in. Cowboys lose their tackle. Keep it moving. Just because that's how good they are talent-wise through the draft. And that's the draft. It does two things. It replaces guys, but it also brings in guys so that you can get rid of guys that don't play well or make trades, right? And we have now a new aggressive GM. We need to get out of the mindset of the old Giant way. And the loyalty of players. If the Giants want to go up and get a player, they're going to go up and get one, right? So we'll get into that in 1 second. But again, we won the game. It was great. I love it. Mac, the Giant fan, pointed out best when we were talking about the offense. He said to me, this offense is putrid. The defense looks like they're playing well. They're going to need to do everything, score points in order for us to win the game. As soon as he said that, Kayvon Thibodeau strip sack fumble. Want to give my man Mac, the Giant fan, props because he was the one that kind of called that the defense needed to score, and the defense scored. So Mac, keep that good juju coming as we go into Minnesota and these rest of these games. Now, let's get into a little offseason talk right now. Like I said, if the Giants want a quarterback, they're going to get one. I don't care if the guy is in the 15s, the 20s. I mean, they got Justin Fields at number 20. Not 20, excuse me. Pittsburgh got a guy at 20. But they traded up to 11, right? And Pittsburgh was going to try to make a move if somebody wanted that quarterback. They did not. But the Bears last year made a move with the Giants in the draft. Not this past draft, but 2 drafts ago, 2021, where we got Kadarius Toney. And they traded up to get that quarterback at 11 from 20. And that team went to the playoffs. So it's not like it's the Kansas City moved up to number 12 from 23 to get their quarterback. It doesn't matter who. And don't tell me they knew Mahomes was going to be good. There was not many people that projected his trajectory to be that good. As a matter of fact, he had a lot of flaws in his game. Go look it up. But the Giants are going to make the move. Now it's about whether they want to make it now or they want to make it later. There are more quarterbacks coming out in 2024 that might have a higher ceiling, but I think there's going to be a couple guys in here, whether it's Anthony Richardson, Herman Hooker, Max Duggan. There's going to be guys in here that they can bring in, and they should bring in to groom and to compete with Daniel Jones if you don't sign him to a long-term deal because, hey, let's be honest, the guy has had an injury history, and sometimes you need to see if a guy can elevate your play or give you a little bit more juice with the offense. And I do believe that the quarterback is the focal point of the offense. I do believe that it runs through him. Someone said it's the trenches. Listen, I know it's the trenches. Come on, bro. But when the trenches get the way they are, the Giants didn't give up a sack last night. So if you didn't give up a sack and you had time, why aren't we trying to throw that? Why aren't we trying to take those chances? Why aren't we trying to do that? I don't think the running game was okay. It didn't really, their running game was doing well. They were getting 5 yards a pop. I'm surprised they went away from it. They got down in the game and they kind of changed. See what happens when you go up 2 scores? Changes the dynamic of the game, right? So, we'll see. We'll see if Commanders had a big time quarterback, things might be different. Things might be different. You know what I mean? So, again, we'll see what happens in the offseason. That's 3 weeks away. Can't believe the season's almost winding down. Up next is Minnesota. Going to be a tall order to go into their building and win. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, man, woo, yeah. The Giants barely score points. They scored 13 offensive points. That's right, 13. Don't try to tell me, they scored 20 points at them. Defense scored 7. The Giants have averaged 20 points or a little bit over, like maybe 21 points in all of their losses, okay? They lost their 2 scores. It was 31-20 against the Lions. They had 22 points against the Cowboys, or 20 points against the Cowboys. They had 22 points against the Eagles. And again, they had 20 points now. Not a common trend. They've been doing that since jump. The last time they had 24 points against the Houston Texans. So they don't score a lot of points. I don't expect them to score that many points against this team. I don't think they're just going to change up their offense and now start to sling it, especially since there's some defensive players over there that can play. I know, I haven't watched a ton of Minnesota games, but we're going to be able to get to Cousins. But let's not fool you. He's a good guy. He's going to understand what we do, and I think we're going to have to contain Dalvin Cook more or less than anything, because let's be honest, that guy is having a season and arguably one of the best backs we don't talk about. But hey, this has been another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm sorry if you think I'm so negative. I just give it to you real. And if you can't handle real, or you call me not a fan, or that I'm a negative Nancy when I win, then kick rocks. Don't know what else to tell you. I'm not here to please everybody. I'm here to give you my takes. Good, bad, and different. Right? When we win, I still was harsh on the team. When we lost, I was even harsher on the team. Still am. That's what I am. I expect perfection and greatness. So when we have mediocrity, I call out mediocrity, because that's what we are. We're a mediocre offense. And you can tell me about all the skill positions you want. I believe it happens with one thing. There's a reason why all these teams move up and down the draft. And it ain't just to get linemen. Think about that. This has been another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. You can find me on the Real Deal NFC Roundup with Mac the Giant Fan. We're going to go over everything, have a little bit more discussion, and drop a little nuggets for you. So, if you don't see me before then, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, be safe, and we'll talk to you after the Vikings game.